Welcome to the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel. I'm your host, ArmaniTalks. In this channel, I'm covering communication skills for you to level up your way with words and become much more articulate. In today's episode, we're breaking down a chapter from my book, Tough Love, 101 Short Stories, Essays, and Insights to Improve Your Communication Skills. This book is currently available on Amazon, and I'm going to drop a link for it in the description box and the pinned comment right on below. The story that we're breaking down from this book is called The Nuances of Social Dynamics. Whenever we're talking about the nuances of something, we have to understand that nuances are earned. At a general level, our brain loves generalizations. When you don't know much about a topic, the first thing that the brain is going to do is it's going to generalize. And this isn't malicious by any means. It's just a fact of reality. Because if you are automatically overloading the brain, making it understand the nuances of everything, then number one, there would be no need to learn. And number two, you would override the brain and make it overthink. Instead, the brain normally generalizes for efficiency reasons. And if you are highly curious on the topic, only then will you learn more about it and gain more nuance. The more nuance that we build in the land of social skills, the more that we transition our mindset from an ice cube into water. That's the entire purpose of social skills, to understand the water way of doing things. But the reason that this is difficult is because of personality-based exams. Nowadays, these exams, let's say the Myers-Briggs exam, is so ingrained in different trainings out there for professionals, for school, for people who are just curious about what am I, what are my personality traits, that it's starting to become a life sentence. The way that things work, from what I've realized, is that there's always levels to things. A personality-based exam works beautifully in terms of society, but it doesn't work that well with individuals. When an individual is taking their personality-based exam as a ride or die sort of thing, that's when they start to act like an ice cube. They make a whole bunch of mistakes, and their brain tends to generalize a lot of things that they can be nuanced on. On a societal level, the Myers-Briggs exam helps. On an individual level, in my opinion, it's better to not identify as an introvert or an extrovert. It's way better to identify as an ambivert. An ambivert is someone with introverted and extroverted like tendencies. And when we are viewing individuals in this level, this is how we become dynamic. In Tough Love, the story that I break down includes an individual named Omar. See, I always grew up being shy, especially once I hit the 5th grade. And that's when I was at my peak shyness. For me to get along with people, I needed some time to get to know them. And once I got to know them, if I sat with you in lunch, that meant that I was becoming cool with you. If I didn't sit with you in lunch, no offense, homie, but you're not my friend like that. So eventually, as the year progressed, I found my group at lunch and I enjoyed hanging out with them. There was this kid named Omar in my class, and he had just moved from Afghanistan. He would barely talk to any of the other kids, and he just did his own thing. Hey man, I'm the shy kid in the class. You can be shy too. But he was really shy. And our teacher one day decides to make us sit together. I didn't know what she was thinking. Lady, Miss Shepherd, whatever your name is, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to see who's going to outshy the other person? The thing is, in the social skills world, very rarely are two people the exact level of shyness. One person is often more shy than the other person, and in this scenario, Omar was shyer than me. And this gave me an opportunity to work on my conversation skills, think of innovative topics to talk to this shy kid about, and crack a bunch of jokes. I see what my teacher is trying to do. And I was doing my best to get this guy out of his shell. Normally, others were trying to get me out of my shell, but now the tables had turned. And each time that I tried to get Omar out of his shell, each time I failed. And I was getting angry because I was putting in an effort and this kid just seemed disinterested. But then I had to think. I was like, wait a minute. He's not malicious or anything. He's shy. He doesn't talk to the other kids in the class. That's why he's not even talking to you. That seems like a reasonable explanation. Not quite. Because this guy was talking nonstop to the teacher. And every single time that I would see Omar talking to the teacher and not me, I started to get angry at the guy. I was like, you know what, man? I tried my best with you. I've had enough of you, man. I'm going to do what any rational kid at 5th grade is going to do. I'm going to give you the silent treatment. And that's exactly what I did. For the next few days, I didn't talk to him. And you know what they say? In the social skills world, very rarely are two people the exact same level of shyness. And at this stage, I had become more shy than Omar because I was giving him the silent treatment. And now he was in charge. Now he had to create conversation with me, and that's exactly what he did. He tried to get me to talk to him again. And as this round started to unfold, I started to understand why Omar was in the United States of America. The reason why was because when he was in Afghanistan, he lived in a very small neighborhood where most people knew each other. Omar's dad was a businessman, but not the best kind of businessman. One of those people that were corrupt. And Omar's dad ended up screwing over a lot of the other dads in the neighborhood. And then Omar's dad ran away, leaving Omar and the family in Afghanistan, in a neighborhood where everyone knew each other. So they didn't know what to do. They're like, well, we can't attack his dad anymore because he left. So how about we attack his kid? For the next couple of months, Omar started to get beat up by the other kids. Not just a punch here or there. I'm talking about getting full-blown jumped. Eventually, Omar's mom realized, yo, we can't have you staying here anymore. You gotta leave. You gotta go to the United States of America and start over there. And that's exactly what he did. And that's when things started to make sense. I started to understand why Omar talked to the teacher, but not the other kids. It's because when he was back in Afghanistan, normally the people who were stopping the fights were adults, people of authority. So nowadays, when Omar was in this new country, whenever he saw the teacher, he was like, you're the authority. You're the person who's going to protect me. And that's why he talked to her the most. And the reason he didn't talk to the kids was because the kids in Afghanistan were the ones beating him up. So once he came to the US, subconsciously, he was like, yo, these kids are going to beat me up too. It's just a matter of time. Even this shy kid that's sitting next to me, named Armani, whatever his name is. All happening at a subconscious level behind the scenes. Once I started to understand Omar at a deeper level, I started to understand the mistake I had been making. I had been an ice cube for such a long time, but this new information that he gave me allowed me to become water-like. It allowed me to end my silent treatment, and it ended up allowing me to interact with this guy. So I had known him for a long time, but never before did I ask him why he came to the United States of America, until he told me. So what this story started to teach me was that nuances are earned. And one of the cheat codes to unlocking that level of nuance is by distinguishing a societal level of thinking from individual level of thinking. The mind, the brain that loves to generalize and pin things against one another is going to be like this. Well, what's better? Is societal level better or is individual level better? But that's the incorrect way of thinking, especially in the land of social skills. In the land of social skills, it's not black and white thinking that wins. It's actually gray thinking that wins. And this is when we have to understand, societal level is right in its right context, and individual level is right in its right context. It's the same thing with physics, where the laws of Newtonian work with macro level objects, but the laws of Newtonian falls apart in the quantum level, and vice versa is also true. So the cheat code, in my opinion, to build social skills, to go from generalizations to nuances, is to, number one, distinguish between societal and individual level, and number two is to understand that the Myers-Briggs exam works great at a societal level. Introvert, extrovert, go on and have fun with that. But on an individual level, always, and I really mean always, aim to work towards the mythical ambivert. It's called mythical because it's not common. Every now and then you see an individual who's capable of being dynamic. Sometimes they know how to talk more. Sometimes they know how to listen more. Sometimes they know how to ask strategic questions which pierce into the other person. That's the mythical ambivert. So the trick for social skills is to identify more as an ambivert. Make that the gold standard. And the more that the ambivert becomes the gold standard, the easier it becomes not to personalize, and the easier it becomes to transition the mind from ice cube to water at will. So if you enjoyed today's talk and you want to learn more about communication skills through the storytelling format, be sure to check out Tough Love. There's 101 short stories like this that allow you to understand crucial concepts in regards to communication skills in an easy to understand way that engages the narrative of the mind and engages the feelings of the heart. Combine the two and you have the ultimate learning experience. Tough Love is currently out on Amazon. Be sure to check it out. And thank you very much for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel.